the occasion of Azadi ki Amrit Mahotsab, let us start our journey on built environment by paying obeisance to the birthplace of the author and composer of our national anthem, Kobiguri Rabindranath Tagore, a visit to his building at Jorashako. Now, going back, the architectural narrative of Bengal has, for centuries, been determined by the Bengal Delta, crisscrossed by rivers, where clay has been the local material supported by bamboo and timber. Hence, we almost do not find any ruins of hundreds and thousand-year-old. Rulers have come and gone in those bygone days, but the building structural remains are hardly found. Clay being the basic material here, sun-baked bricks and kiln-burnt terracotta were widely used, remains of which are found as temples in Bishnupur, Bankura and some other places. It is only after the Industrial Revolution and coming of the British did buildings come up, many of which are lasting even today. Kolkata, being the capital city those days, got a better share of these structures. Being heritage conscious, though lately we have started preserving these creations. One such was CPWD possessed classical Greek style Metcalfe Hall, which, as an ex-CPWD person, I can say was passed on by CPWD to the Archaeological Survey of India for restoration. Incidentally, there was no statutory heritage committee or its like those days. Similarly, the currency building was handed over to ASI. Those days, in the 19th century, local style grew around religious buildings. The Poreshnath Jain temple is one such. The Tipu Sultan Mosque in Tollygunge is another example that got the touch of preservation in recent years. Besides those, we have Chinese churches, Buddhist temples and mosques which follow their own style of architecture. Post-colonial architecture took its time to gain shape. The advent of new technology saw multi-storied public buildings coming up. Multi-storied residential apartments was popularized by architect Professor Gopal Mitro at the end of 60s of the last century. The present-day apartments are now budding into creative forms, each denoting the signature of the architects. Presented here are, spanning over decades, some of the post-independence and modern-day buildings dotting the city and nearby. Let us start off with the educational buildings. Soon after independence in 1951, Government of India established the first IIT at Kharagpur, which presented a majestic, ever-shining building. Kolkata-based BTM was the architect. Together with the IIT, we should mention the BE College main building designed by Habibur Rahman. Incidentally, at later date, he headed the architectural wing of CPWD and brought the department to shape. The other building to mention in this category is the Jadavpur University main building. While we are on the subject of education, we must value the planetarium building known as the Birla Planetarium and various buildings of the Science City. One of the fine buildings that caught my attention in recent years is the academic complex at IIT Kharagpur and the School of Management building in the campus. School buildings in no way can be left behind. One of them that needs to be highlighted is the New Town School. Coming to the institutional buildings, we start off with Vishwa Bangla Convention Center, an initiative of the state government. This center makes the city a MICE tourism destination in India. MICE means meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions. It houses a mega convention hall, exhibition halls, including the state banquet, a spacious pre-function area, a garden food court linked to the exhibition halls, and two smaller capacity auditoriums with its very own 4-star business hotel to facilitate the needs the users of the convention center and otherwise. We also have an attractive building nearby which is known as the Wax Museum and the Finance Center. CPWD traditionally has been pioneer in public buildings. Some of the striking buildings are the Customs and Central Excise Office building on Rashbihari Connector in East Kolkata, also known as the GST building. Then the GSI, the Geological Survey of India office cum lab building at Salt Lake. Another GSI building, the multi-storied stores building nearby, and one designed 14-15 years back is the Hitco building in New Town. The Bio Wonder is an unique building of its own kind. The PricewaterhouseCoopers office building of 2006, located in the IT sector, its uniqueness is the integration of the open spaces at different levels to the various activity areas. Among the commercial buildings, perhaps, the first mall in eastern India was the Metro Plaza, built in 1997. It introduced the atrium flow pattern and space frame ceiling. The exterior facade treatment involved using rainwater pipe as a design element. Highlighted here are the South City Mall and the Acropolis Mall that came up much later. Our Twin City Howrah is not far behind. Aurobindo Mall with rooftop parking was built some years ago over an existing bustling market without disturbing their daily activities. The Topsail Toyota flagship showroom was created by the architect in a pure pristine form with bold scooped out mass giving an impression of a mechanistic structure. Among the community buildings, the Gallery House at Bashberia draws everyone's attention. The building shape, form and texture was inspired by the terracotta temple works mentioned before. Exposed brickwork with ceramic inserts defined the character of the building. Coming to recreational buildings, Mahajati Sadhan is the first I should mention. Though the building was inaugurated in 1958 by the then Chief Minister Bidhan Chandra Rai, on 19th August 1958, Rabindranath Tagore laid the foundation exactly 19 years before on 19th August 1939. The Sadhan was conceptualized by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It was to play an important part in India's freedom movement. Besides that, the notable public buildings are the Rabindra Sadhan, very near to this place, and Nandan Complex, known to every cultural buffs of the city. Together, I cannot forget to mention the Heritage Plaza at Shawbhumi. Coming to sports, we have our Eden Gardens, which at intervals has been upgraded. Next to that is the Netaji Indoor Stadium, built in 1975. On the other side of the city, we have the Salt Lake Stadium, officially known as the Yuva Bharati Kridangan, and next to that, the Sports Authority Complex, first part of which was built by the state in 1979. Again, in the city of Howrah came up the Dumurjala Indoor Stadium by nearly doubling the seating capacity of an existing dilapidated stadium. In the hospitality sector, we have the low risers such as the Ganga Kutir at Raichok, where tranquility blends with the water body around. The other one being Amar Bari at Shantiniketan, where the architect is inspired by the heritage of the area, exemplifying vernacular architecture. Exposed brickwork, detailed arches and corbelling, pillars and fenestrations, niches are neatly interwoven. On the other end, we have the luxury living multi-storage structures such as the ITC Sonar. On the residential side, we have innumerable bungalows, one such being the one shown here, which has an abstract form with angular elements and juxtapositioning of solid and void, which contributes to its contemporary appeal. And on the other end, we have the Forum Atmosphere, luxury apartment consisting of 2 towers and an interconnecting floating deck at 500 feet above ground. We also have the Highland Park apartments, consisting of 9 towers ranging from 18 to 27 stories each, and the South City apartments. In this sector, CPWD also has its notable contribution with 6 16-storied apartments constructed way back in 1975, and among others, the income tax quarters at Eastern Metropolitan Bypass. We will be doing injustice if we ignore the recent marvel, 62-storied, 260-meter high, the 42, Kolkata's tallest building as of now, just opposite the Maidan. Among the religious buildings, we have the Birla Mandir, built quite recently, the Swaminarayan Mandir, and the national award-winning Don Bosco Church at Kollani. Among the conservation work, I have with me Minerva Theatre, which in 2008 was revitalized after fire damaged the theatre, the Star Theatre, and the revitalization of the Great Eastern Hotel. 2 small structures which also should be appreciated are the tea kiosk and the aluminium cased steel structure glass house at Botanical Gardens, the latter designed by CPWD 40 years ago. And when we are talking about Kolkata, who would like to miss the eye-catching gateway to the city from airport side, the Bishwa Bangla Gate, unparalleled in the state. Before I thank everyone, I would like to thank architects Probir Mitro, who unfortunately is no more with us, and Sri Dulal Mukherjee, who for around last 55 years have enriched the built environment of the state, towering over all successful architects, and enabled us to contribute to the Azadi Mahotsab.